Hi, I'm Beth Graves, and thank you for joining us on the Circus Arts Spotlight. Each week, we'll shine the spotlight on the people, programs, and events of the Circus Arts Conservatory. In addition to professional and student youth performances, we'll explore incredible outreach programs and learn how the circus arts impact so many aspects of life. For more information on today's topic, or anything circus arts related, please go to our website, circusarts.org. Now, let's get started. Today, we shine the spotlight on CAC co-founder and Vice President Dolly Jacobs. So, Dolly, welcome.
Thank you.
Let's get started regarding your family because you come from circus royalty. Can you please tell us about your family history?
Absolutely.
Sure.
So I'm the daughter of the late, great Lou Jacobs, who was with Ringling for over 60 years. He was a clown. He was on all of the posters. He was the first one to have he was the only living person to have his image on a U.S. postage stamp, and I believe that was 1968. It was a 5-cent postage stamp, so you can
gone up a bit
go
since
back.
then.
Yeah, and so, like I said, he came over from Germany in 1923 and worked vaudeville for a couple of years and joined Ringling in 1925, and he was there ever since. My mother was and is, she's sitting here with me, beautiful model in New York, on the cover of Pageant magazine several times, and Miss Prell, Miss Breck, Miss Fabergé, did some commercials, hair commercials. She, on a whim, came down to Sarasota, which is where the circus Ringling quarters were, and joined the Corps de Troops, which is like a showgirl where all the girls dance or go up in the air, ride horses and elephants. And lo and behold, she met my father.
Of course.
And the rest is history. But my sister and I were born here in Sarasota, and we, at that time, way back then, were part of Sailor Circus, which we now manage.
Right.
Which is amazing. I've never left this place.
You've come full circle.
Part of me, part of who I am. And so, yes, as a child, I was here. We did competitive swimming and diving and life saving besides circus, and we did ballet, gymnastics. So we were very active. My mother took us all over and showed us all the different aspects of what we might want to go into. And you don't have to ask a child twice to join the circus. So in my heart of hearts, I knew one day I would be that girl on the flying trapeze. I just had to finish my schooling and do what you have to do. And I did. I joined, actually, Ringling as a showgirl at 14 years old. My sister went ahead of me a year, and I finished my schooling with homeschooling while traveling on the show and working on Ringling as a showgirl, which encompassed dancing, riding horses and elephants, and doing the aerial ballet, which is the ropes that hang from the ceiling.
Wow.
And so as I'm finishing my schooling, I knew that once I was finished, I'd be able to train to do a solo act, which is what I really wanted. Couldn't do both school and training at the same time. And I did. I stayed home after I finished school, and I was taught by my godmother, Margie Geiger, the Roman rings.
Okay.
And it's similar to the gymnastic rings that men do, but it's about 32 feet high, and the rings are metal and smaller.
Okay.
And it's a still routine, and it's a swinging routine. So she passed this art form on to me, and it took me all over the world. I worked for another 9 years on Ringling and worked my way up the ladder to solo status. Did a full flyaway somersault, completely releasing the rings and catching another rope, which nobody had done for about 40 years.
Wow.
So it gave me that status of being able to book myself anywhere I wanted to go. And, my parents taught my sister and I, whatever you choose to do, be the best at it. And my father also gave us an example of, just by his performance, gave us the example of the presence in the ring. You're always on, and you have to reach the people at the very top row. And that's what I tried to do, and I think I was able to do it. And so basically that's my circus performing, and I know you have more questions for me, so I'll stop there. But that's kind of my circus background.
So when you were a child and you were traveling with the show with your parents, which you did for a few years, or during summers, or
prior to joining as a showgirl, yes, we would just go, not very often because we were so involved in school and after school activities.
Right. Did you live on the train? Was that your?
Well, when I traveled, we lived on the train. The train's like a mile long, and we had they call it a stateroom,
right?
You know, which is double bunks. My sister and I, you know, I had the top bunk, she had the bottom bunk, but it was a great life. It really was a great life. Believe it or not, I speak fluent Bulgarian. There were so many Bulgarian women in the dressing room and on the train car, and I was young, 14, 15 years old. I picked it up. You know, I was hanging with them all the time, and you're talking about back in the 70s, and they came over from, it was a communist country at that time.
Right.
So I learned a lot from them.
Yeah.
I learned an immense amount from them. Besides the language, besides being able to read and write in their language, which is Slavic, you know, I learned to cook their cuisine. I learned to sew. I learned to mend my pantyhose. I learned to just so many things.
You made a lot of your own costumes, is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Still do.
And some of those costumes are on display at the Ringling Museum of Art in the Circus Museum, which I talked about them in some previous shows here, some previous podcasts. So you've traveled the world basically as a performer.
Yes.
It was just part of your life.
It's a great life.
And you've won numerous international awards. Earlier we had spoken about Monaco and the Clown Awards because Sasa had been talking about a silver clown. So are there any favorite memories that you have that you'd like to share with us?
Well, the first time I was invited to Monte Carlo, it was only my second year with the ring act, so I didn't have the somersault yet. So I was still working in a display. But the awesome part about that first year going was that my father was with me, and my mother was there, but my father brought me into the ring, presented me in the ring, and took me out. And on the jury was John Ringling North, and you know, just seeing him reach across the table and shake hands with them because they went so far back.
Right.
Time stood still for me. I have a photograph of it, actually, and it was just amazing. And that's one of my most favorite memories of performing.
Right.
I went back 10 years later. I was invited back after I had I like to say, my act in my pocket. I really had done it for another 10 years and was doing already the full flyaway somersault. And so I was invited back, which is not normal. And I received, actually the first time I received La Dame du Cirque, which is Lady of the Circus,
right,
and an award from the city of Monaco.
Oh. The
second time when I went back, I won the Silver Clown Award and La Dame du Cirque again.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, it was great. It was really wonderful.
And so you were with Ringling for quite a few years, you said? 14 years?
Yeah, 5 years as a showgirl and 9 with the Roman Ring Act.
And is that when you became known as the Queen of the Air?
I guess they, you know.
Okay.
I guess so. But there was a Queen of the Air before me, and I'm sure there was many before me. But it's a great title to have.
Well, you're our queen. So, so eventually you met your husband Pedro, and do you want to talk about how you met?
We met. He was on the Ringling had unfortunately it had 2 units, the red and blue, and it crisscrossed America. And he was on the blue unit, and I always joked with him because I said, well, I was on the red unit, the better of the 2. My father was there, and Gunther Gable-Williams was there.
Oh yeah, you were the better.
So, but he was on a great unit also, I have to say. But he came over with a troupe and did an aerial act, The Survivors. I'm sure you spoke to him earlier.
Yes, we did.
And aerialist to aerialist, you're impressed, you know, because we're daredevils in a sense. It's a gymnastics type of thing, but at the same time you're presenting. So it's more than just doing your feats. You're doing them and doing a dance or a show for the audience. So it's more than just the feat you're doing.
Right.
So I went to see with my girlfriend the Blue Show before we went out on the road, and I was really impressed. He was really a daredevil.
Right.
And then we met later again practicing here at Sailor Circus.
Oh.
And, I was just so impressed with, his mannerisms, his dedication to what he was doing, and his striving to be the best.
Right.
And that's in kin with my spirit.
Right. Similar work ethic.
Yeah. And that's how we met.
Well, that's great. So then eventually you formed Circus Sarasota and the Circus Arts Conservatory. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that happened, how you decided to make Circus Sarasota, bring it into existence?
Sure. Can I just backtrack a little bit?
Sure.
Well, after we met, he had a solo aerial act, and I also had a solo aerial act. And when our romance started, we had a long distance romance because he would be on one side of the country or world, and I on the other. And we did a lot of, at that time, payphones.
Right.
And trips on days off. So we decided to create an act together. And we created, and it was the original On Wings of Love. It was an aerial pas de deux on straps,
Okay.
which there hadn't been a male, there'd been two males doing straps before, but we were the first ones. We hired the artistic director from Cirque du Soleil to come in and give us a storyline, and then a choreographer from Ottawa Ballet. They came in, we hired them, and we created this On Wings of Love aerial pas de deux, which if we had microphones on, it probably would have been a comedy, but it was a beautiful love story, and we worked that for a year, and then it was that at that point, because it wasn't the type of act that you could really travel with, because it had an electric winch that was very heavy, and you needed a third person. And Pedro, in his heart of hearts, always wanted to have a circus school, and like I said, I was always part of Sailor Circus, and we would come in anyway to help volunteer teach when we had time. So, long story short, things happened with Sailor Circus, and the Police Athletic League came in to save the day, which was wonderful. We weren't in a position. They were in a position, and they took it for, I can't remember how many years, but they kept it alive. Right. And we were getting established at the time. And then they came and approached Pedro and myself, if we'd like to take over. And it was a wonderful marriage, if you will. Right. Because it's a way, you come to we have Circus Sarasota, which is bringing acts in from all over the world. Right. To make this incredible presentation. And then you have the youth circus that you can have these incredible artists come and do demonstrations, but also it's a year-round training facility. Right. So, yeah, it's been really great. Yes, that's wonderful. So, and you coach now? I do. I'm passing the torch. Yeah. Yeah. Which is wonderful. And I have 5 wonderful girls that are so eager and polite and respectful, and it's just wonderful. And they're doing great. I can't wait to see them perform. Yeah, and you teach them. You go a little bit beyond teaching them the actual act. You teach them how to present and how to walk. And it's all part of it. Right. The entrance, from the time the people can see you, and that's what I've learned from my father. As soon as you walk through the curtain, the people can see you, you're on. Right. And you have to be that person that's in that act. And so I teach them how to walk gracefully. I teach them how to hold their arms, how to curtsy from start to finish. Yeah. It's all part of the act. And they love learning from you. They really do. I've watched. And they soak it up. Well, it builds their confidence. Right. Because nobody ever taught them how to walk. So they feel self-conscious and embarrassed. But once they start learning how to walk, and pretend like you're taking your cape off and all, then their confidence builds. And speaking of cape, you have some of your old costumes are here, and they can wear those. Is that correct? Well, I have one of them. Believe it or not, one of the leotards that I wore in 1977 in Monte Carlo. It was made so well that they can still wear it, and it's awesome to see. But I've made a few more for them. That's excellent. Yeah. So speaking of passing the torch, in 2015, you became the first circus artist to receive a National Endowment for the Arts National Heritage Fellowship. What a mouthful.